came home early and overheard my girlfriend bragging about cheating on me, so I left without saying a word. Now she's desperately trying to find me, but I blocked her everywhere. I'm not really sure why I'm posting this here. Maybe because I can't tell anyone else right now, and if I don't let it out somewhere, I feel like my head's going to explode. For context, I, 29M, have been with my girlfriend Sophie, 28F, for a little over 3 years. We moved in together last year, and honestly, I thought she was it. My best friend. My safe place. The person I could come home to and just exhale. I was sure she felt the same way about me. Apparently, I was wrong. The day it happened started out completely normal. I work as a project manager for a tech company. We've been slammed for weeks on a big client rollout, so my schedule's been brutal. Late nights, early mornings, the whole cliche. Sophie works as a marketing coordinator for a small clothing brand. Our hours don't always align, but we've made it work. That Friday morning, my boss pulled me into his office and said, "Ethan, you've been killing yourself over this project. Go home, take the afternoon off, recharge before the weekend." I don't get surprises often, but that one was a damn good one. My first thought, pick up Sophie's favorite Thai food and surprise her. I imagined walking in, setting the takeout on the counter, kissing her cheek while she was still in her messy bun and oversized hoodie, and maybe curling up on the couch for a mid-afternoon movie. It's insane how detailed that mental picture was, because now it's just a cruel little joke my brain keeps replaying. I stopped at her favorite Thai place, extra peanut sauce, like she loves, and drove home with that stupid, "this is going to be great" smile on my face. When I got to our apartment building, I noticed her car was already in the lot. Weird. She usually works until 5, and it was only 2:15. Maybe she had the day off? I thought I was the one doing the surprising. I headed upstairs, unlocked the door as quietly as possible, and stepped inside. I could hear her voice right away, drifting from the kitchen. Not her customer service tone, not the one she uses when she's annoyed, but her laughing with a friend voice. Then I heard another voice, Clara's, her best friend since college. The conversation didn't sound serious. In fact, it sounded bubbly, giddy. I remember thinking, oh good, she's in a good mood. I set the takeout bag on the coffee table and took a couple steps closer. I was about to walk into the kitchen when a sentence floated into the air and froze me in place. Sophie. "I'm telling you, Clara, the way Jake kissed me in the supply closet, God, I thought my legs were going to give out." My brain didn't register it at first. I actually paused and waited for the punchline. Maybe she was quoting a movie or telling some ridiculous story about a friend of a friend. Then she laughed, this high, breathy giggle I've only ever heard when she's trying to sound flirty. Clara. "Oh my God, you're terrible." Sophie. "No, he's terrible. And the best part, Ethan's so sweet and trusting, he'd never suspect a thing. I mean, the guy practically worships me." I don't remember breathing for a solid 10 seconds. It's hard to explain the exact feeling. It wasn't rage, not immediately. It wasn't even heartbreak. It was like someone had just pressed mute on the world, and I was standing in a soundproof box, watching my own life from outside. She kept talking, laughing, bragging, mentioned how it started. Some stupid after-work happy hour where Jake, her coworker, jokingly flirted with her, and she decided to see where it went. How he texts her late at night, how she kind of likes the thrill of keeping it from Ethan. I couldn't listen anymore. If I had burst in there, screamed at her, thrown the takeout on the floor, maybe I'd feel different now, but something in me just shut off. There was no big dramatic showdown. No, "how could you?" monologue. I turned, walked down the hall to our bedroom, and started packing a bag. I moved like I was in a trance. Backpack, a couple days worth of clothes, toiletries, charger, wallet, keys. I didn't slam a single drawer, didn't make a single sound. When I stepped back into the living room, I could still hear her in the kitchen, still talking like she didn't have a care in the world. I slipped on my sneakers and walked out the door without looking back. I didn't go to a friend's place, didn't go to my parents'. I drove to a motel about 30 minutes away, paid cash for a room, and sat down on the bed like I'd just teleported there. That's when my phone started buzzing. First Sophie, then Clara, then Sophie again, then a string of texts. Sophie. "Hey, where are you? Did you come home?" Sophie. "Ethan?" Clara. "Hey, weird question, but were you here earlier?" Sophie. "Answer me. You're freaking me out." I stared at the screen until it went dark. Over the next hour, the tone shifted. Sophie. "Ethan. Seriously, are you mad about something?" Sophie. "Okay, I don't know what's going on, but I need you to call me." Sophie. "If you're pulling some kind of stunt, it's not funny." Sophie. "Where the F are you?" By the time it hit 9 p.m., she left 5 voicemails, alternating between panic and irritation. I didn't listen to them. I turned my phone off, tossed it on the nightstand, and lay there staring at the ceiling. It's a strange kind of pain. Knowing someone you love is capable of looking you in the eye and lying, and that they've been doing it long enough to get comfortable, to get cocky about it. The Sophie I heard in that kitchen wasn't the Sophie I thought I knew. She sounded mean, smug, almost proud of what she'd done. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her smirking as she told Clara how trusting I am, how I'd never find out. Well, I found out, and she still doesn't know I know. The next morning, I texted my boss that I needed a few days for a personal emergency. He told me to take as long as I needed. Then I went through my phone, blocked Sophie on everything. Calls, texts, socials, did the same for Clara. I didn't leave a note at the apartment, didn't take anything I couldn't fit in my backpack. For all she knows, I vanished into thin air. And maybe that's the point. Right now, I don't know if I'll ever tell her what I heard. Part of me wants to confront her, make her squirm, make her apologize, but another part of me, maybe the bigger part, thinks walking away without a word might be the best punishment she'll ever get, because she'll never get closure. She'll never know exactly when or how I found out. She'll just have to sit with the knowledge that one day, without warning, the man who worshipped her decided she wasn't worth the truth anymore. I know people will ask, what about our lease? Our stuff? I honestly don't care. My name's on the lease, but I can sort that out later. As for my things, most of it's replaceable. What I can't replace is my self-respect. I don't feel like a hero in this story. I feel hollow. But in the middle of that hollow space, there's this small, steady pulse of clarity. I'm not going back. Not this time. Not for her. When I left the apartment that day, I thought I'd feel free. You see movies where someone walks away from betrayal, head held high, dramatic music playing, and the credits roll. Real life, it's quieter, heavier. It's sitting on a motel bed at 3 a.m., staring at a beige wall, wondering how the hell the person you trusted most in the world turned into whatever that was in the kitchen. It's been 5 days since I left. Day 1, hiding in plain sight. After blocking Sophie and Clara, I didn't hear a thing for hours. Then the calls started coming from unknown numbers. I didn't pick up. Later, my older brother Mark texted me. Mark, dude, Sophie's been trying to get in touch with me. She says she can't find you. What's going on? I almost told him right then, but my brain was so fogged. I didn't want to see the look on his face when I explained. Not yet. Instead, I replied, me. Personal stuff, I'll fill you in when I'm ready. That first night, I didn't sleep much. My motel room smelled faintly of cigarette smoke, even though it was non-smoking. I lay there listening to the hum of the mini fridge and the occasional car passing outside, replaying Sophie's voice in my head like some sick looped recording. Day 2. The panic post. I still had her social media blocked, but mutual friends started texting me screenshots. Sophie had posted an Instagram story, a black background with white text. If anyone's heard from Ethan, please tell him I just want to talk. This is serious. The next one was a photo of the two of us from last year, captioned, I love you. Please come home. It made my stomach turn. Not because she missed me, but because I knew exactly what this was. Performance. Sophie always knew how to craft an image, even in a crisis. She wasn't just talking to me, she was talking to everyone, planting the idea that she was the heartbroken one, the abandoned girlfriend. Mark called me that evening. This time, I picked up. Mark, okay, seriously, man, did you guys fight? Did something happen? Because she's acting like you've disappeared off the face of the earth. Me, I'm fine. Mark, that's not an answer. I hesitated. My brother can be hot-headed, and I didn't want him storming over to her place and blowing up my spot. Me, she did something I can't forgive. I just can't be around her right now. Mark, do you want me to keep her away from me too? Me, yes. He didn't press further, but I could hear the tension in his voice. Day 3. Clara tries to intervene. That afternoon, I got an email from Clara. Subject line, please read. Ethan, I know you're upset, but you're misunderstanding what you heard. Sophie wasn't serious. She was exaggerating for a laugh. You owe it to her to hear her side. Please don't throw away 3 years over a joke. I didn't respond. I wanted to type back, a joke? Is that what you call telling your best friend about kissing another man and laughing about how I'd never find out? But I didn't. Silence felt stronger. Day 4. The tracking attempts. I'd told work I was dealing with a family emergency and my boss didn't ask for details. But around noon, HR emailed me saying Sophie had called asking if I was okay. That was my breaking point. Calling my workplace was crossing a line. I emailed HR back, telling them firmly not to share any information with her and to direct all calls to me. That night, I crashed at Mark's place. He lives in a small 2-bedroom condo about 20 minutes from my apartment. I figured it would be safer than the motel. Cheaper too. We stayed up late watching mindless TV. At one point, he asked again what happened. This time I told him. Mark, after a long pause, you're kidding me. Me, which I was. Mark, I'm going to her place right now. Me, no, don't, she's not worth it. He clenched his jaw, but eventually sat back down. I think he understood this wasn't about revenge, it was about extraction. Day 5, the showdown attempt. Sophie found out where I was. I was in Mark's kitchen making coffee when there was a knock at the door. Mark looked out the peephole, muttered, "Shh, asterisk, tea," and turned to me. Mark, it's her. Before I could stop him, he opened the door just enough to block her from coming in. Sophie, Mark, please, I just need to talk to him. Mark, no, he doesn't want to see you. Sophie, I made a mistake, okay? It was just a joke. Clara knows it was a joke. Can't I just explain? I stood in the hallway, out of her sight. My hands were shaking, not from wanting to yell, but from the effort it took to stay silent. Mark, you've already explained enough. Now leave. She tried again, her voice breaking in that way I used to think meant she was being genuine. I didn't move. Eventually, Mark closed the door. I stood there for a long time staring at the floor. I don't know what her endgame is. Maybe she thinks if she cries hard enough, I'll forget the words I heard in that kitchen. Maybe she wants me back just to prove she can win me over again. But here's the truth. I'm not going back. And I haven't even told her I know. Next step, I'm seriously considering moving cities. I don't need the ghost of this relationship haunting every corner of my current life. Because if I've learned anything in the last 5 days, it's this. Sometimes silence is louder than any confrontation you could ever have. It's been just over 2 weeks since I walked out of that apartment without a word. I thought the longer I stayed silent, the less noise there'd be. I was wrong. The noise just changed. Day 8. The quiet before the storm. For a few days, I heard nothing. No knocks on the door. No mystery calls from blocked numbers. No urgent emails from Clara. I thought maybe Sophie had finally gotten the hint. Mark even said, maybe she's moved on. Maybe she's embarrassed. That felt nice to think about. But Sophie doesn't move on. She regroups. Day 10. The sightings. I went to grab groceries at a store I don't usually go to, and halfway down the cereal aisle, I froze. Sophie's coworker, Paige, I think, was standing by the oatmeal, staring at me like she'd seen a ghost. I gave a small nod and kept walking. When I got to the register, she was outside on her phone. I didn't have to hear the words to know who she was calling. That night, Mark got a text from an unknown number. Unknown. Tell him to talk to me, please. I'll stop if he just talks to me. We both knew it was Sophie. Mark didn't reply. Day 12. The arrival. It was around 4 p.m. when the knock came. Mark wasn't home. He was at work. I checked the peephole and saw her. Sophie. Hair messy, no makeup, wearing the hoodie I'd bought her on our 2nd anniversary. She didn't look smug this time. She looked small. I didn't open the door. She started talking anyway. Sophie. Ethan, I know you're in there. Please. Just tell me what I did. I can't fix it if I don't know. I stayed quiet. My pulse was in my ears. She went on for several minutes, her voice cracking, then firming, then cracking again. She said she loved me, said she missed me, said she couldn't eat or sleep. Finally, she muttered, almost too low to hear, I don't even know if you're alive. That one stung a little. Not because I felt guilty, but because I realized how much my absence was shaking her. She left after about 15 minutes. I watched from the window as she sat in her car for a while before driving off. Day 14. The call that changed everything. I'd just gotten back from a run when my phone rang. Unknown number. Normally I wouldn't answer, but for some reason I picked up. Me. Hello? Her. Is this Ethan? Me. Who's this? Her. My name's Hannah. I'm Jake's girlfriend. My chest went tight. Jake. Sophie's coworker. The guy from the supply closet story. Hannah sounded calm. Too calm. She said she'd gotten my number from Mark. He swears he didn't give it to her directly, so maybe it was through a mutual contact. She told me she thought I deserved to know everything. We met in a coffee shop the next morning. Hannah was in her late 20s, sharp eyes, business casual clothes. She didn't waste time. She pulled out her phone, scrolled, and showed me screenshots of texts between Sophie and Jake. Flirty messages, inside jokes, plans to hang out after work when Jake's girlfriend was busy. One that made my stomach turn. Sophie, he'd never believe you're just a coworker. That's why it's fun. I asked Hannah how long it had been going on. She said she first noticed changes about 6 months ago. Jake becoming more secretive, staying late at work. She confronted him last week. He denied everything until she showed him her own evidence. Then he admitted to a few kisses, but claimed it wasn't serious. Hannah didn't believe him. Neither did I. She also told me something else. Sophie had told Jake that I was controlling, that I kept tabs on her, and that's why she had to sneak around. I almost laughed at the absurdity. Me? Controlling? If anything, I'd been too trusting. Before we left, Hannah said, I'm not telling you this to hurt you. I'm telling you because people like that don't change if everyone lets them rewrite the story. Day 15. The internal debate. After Hannah left, I sat in my car for a long time. Part of me wanted to march straight to Sophie and throw the screenshots in her face. Another part wanted to delete them and pretend I'd never seen them. I'd already made my choice to leave. Did knowing more really matter? But then I thought about her Instagram stories, her knocking on Mark's door, begging for me to just talk. She wasn't asking for forgiveness, she was asking for control of the narrative. And now, I had the full narrative. That night, I told Mark about Hannah. He wanted me to post everything online, burn Sophie's social reputation to the ground. I wasn't ready, not yet. Instead, I started drafting my first actual Reddit post, just to see what people would say. Day 17, the tipping point. Clara emailed me again. This time, the subject line was just, "You're ruining her life." The body read, "You're being cruel, she's falling apart, and it's because you won't even tell her what she did wrong. This is emotional abuse." I didn't reply, but I think that was the moment I decided. If Sophie wanted answers, she was going to get them, just not in the way she expected. Where I'm at now, I'm sitting here with a folder full of proof from Hannah. Texts, dates, details. Sophie still has no idea I've spoken to her coworker's girlfriend. She's still out there, spinning her version to whoever will listen. But I'm not just sitting in the shadows anymore. I think it's time the truth starts leaking. Update 1. Hey everyone, Ethan here. Wasn't expecting to post again this soon, but things escalated. How it started. After events, for anyone who's just finding this, I had the receipts from Hannah Jake's girlfriend, screenshots, timelines, and a first-hand account of Sophie's cheating. I'd been sitting on them for a few days, trying to decide if going public was worth the chaos it would cause. I didn't want to be that guy who airdrops relationship drama into every group chat. But Sophie kept pushing the trigger. 2 nights ago, Mark got another text from Sophie. "Sophie, tell Ethan I'm sorry, tell him I'll do anything. I just want him back, we can forget whatever he thinks I did." That last part, whatever he thinks I did, that's what got me. She was still refusing to own it. And if she wouldn't own it privately, fine, she could own it publicly. The plan. I called Hannah, told her I was ready. She didn't even hesitate. We picked one of Sophie's core group chats, a mix of mutual friends, old college roommates, and people Sophie sees at least twice a month. If you've ever been in a friend group with someone like Sophie, you know the type. The one who always manages to control the narrative, always the first to explain a breakup so she can paint herself as the wronged party. We decided to cut her off at the pass. The message. Hannah sent the first text. "Hannah, hey everyone. You deserve to know what Sophie's been hiding from Ethan. Here are screenshots from the last 6 months. She attached them. Every single one. Flirty messages, after work meetups, the supply closet brag, Sophie talking about how Ethan's too trusting to catch on. There was silence for about 2 minutes, then the typing bubble started. Friend 1. Wait, this is real? Friend 2. I thought you guys broke up because Ethan ghosted you? Friend 3. Holy sh... Asterisk T, Sophie. Sophie didn't reply for about 10 minutes. When she did, it was exactly what I expected. Sophie. Wow, I can't believe you'd invade my privacy like this. You're taking things out of context. Hannah shot back. Hannah. Context? You bragged about cheating on him. You told Jake you liked the thrill of keeping it from him. Sophie. It wasn't like that. We were just messing around. Nothing serious. Friend 2. So, you admit you did it? Sophie. It was a mistake. Ethan wouldn't even let me explain. The fallout. By the next morning, I had 6 unread messages from mutual friends. One apologized for believing Sophie's "he ghosted me" version. Another said they'd known something was off, but didn't have proof. A couple just said, "Wow, man, I'm sorry." Mark read them all and muttered, "She's done." Clara's response. Right on cue, Clara emailed me again. This one was longer and angrier. "I hope you're happy. You've humiliated her in front of everyone. You could have handled this privately, but you had to make a scene. You've ruined her life." I didn't reply. Hannah did. Hannah. She ruined her own life. We just told the truth. Where Sophie stands now. From what I hear, Sophie's keeping a low profile. No Instagram stories in 2 days. No posts. But I know her well enough to guess she's regrouping. If she's smart, she'll leave it here. But something tells me she's not done. I'm not proud that I went public, but I'm not sorry either. Sophie spent weeks trying to manipulate the situation, paint herself as the victim, and get me to break my silence. Now, at least, the people who matter know the truth. Next steps? Honestly, I don't know. I feel lighter, but there's still this pit in my stomach, the part of me that wonders how she'll try to get back control. Because with Sophie, there's always another move. Update 2. Hey everyone. I honestly didn't expect so many of you to be following along, but your comments and advice have been a huge part of why I've been able to keep my head straight through this mess. It's been about 2 weeks since my last post, and a lot has happened. Some of it good, some of it exhausting. After the first update, I really doubled down on keeping myself under the radar. My phone is still off most of the day, and I only check emails through my laptop. My girlfriend, or I guess ex-girlfriend, is still on her hunt to track me down. From what I've been told by a mutual friend, she's been going as far as asking random acquaintances from years ago if they've seen me. She even drove to my old apartment complex and spoke to the security guard there. That part made my stomach twist, because the idea of her being even remotely close to finding me still makes me uneasy. But here's where things get even stranger. A few days ago, I was sitting in a small coffee shop near where I'm staying. Yes, I've been careful not to go to the same place too often. When I saw someone, I recognized one of her closest friends. This is the same friend who was apparently there during that call where she bragged about cheating. My first instinct was to get up and leave, but before I could, she came over to my table. And get this, she apologized. She told me she had no idea my girlfriend was serious during that phone conversation, that she thought it was some stupid girl talk exaggeration. When she found out I'd actually left and gone no contact, she said my girlfriend completely broke down, started crying for days, and even blamed her for not stopping me from overreacting. Honestly, I didn't know how to respond. Part of me wanted to tell her to get lost, but another part wanted to hear everything. She ended up telling me a lot. Apparently, my girlfriend had been cheating for almost 3 months, not just once. She would hook up with some guy she met at a friend's party, and it wasn't just physical. They'd been texting constantly, going on coffee dates, and in her words, acting like a couple when you weren't around. That information was a gut punch, even though I thought I was past the worst of it. I didn't let her see how much it stung, but my hands were shaking under the table. The friend then asked me, "Are you ever going to talk to her? She's losing her mind, and honestly, I think she deserves at least a goodbye." I told her point blank. She lost the right to hear anything from me the moment she opened her mouth that day. The friend didn't argue after that, just nodded and said, "Fair enough, but here's where things got complicated." She left me with a warning. She said my girlfriend is getting desperate and might try to run into me by accident somewhere she knows I used to go often. And more disturbingly, she hinted that the guy my girlfriend cheated with isn't exactly someone who likes being exposed. She didn't say what that meant, but the implication was unsettling. The rest of the week, I stayed home more than usual. My cousin noticed that I've been more on edge and offered to help me change up my daily routines. I even started parking my car a few blocks away instead of right outside. Then yesterday, something happened that made me realize this might not just be about emotional closure anymore. I got a letter, not an email, not a text, not a DM, an actual handwritten letter slipped under my cousin's door. It wasn't in an envelope and it wasn't signed, but I recognized her handwriting immediately. It said, "I know you're reading this. I just want to talk. Please don't make me do something we'll both regret." I stared at that note for what felt like an hour. The last sentence, it didn't sound like a plea anymore. It sounded like a threat. I've kept it, but I'm seriously considering going to the police or, at the very least, letting someone outside my small circle know what's going on. I've been playing it quiet so far, but this feels like a turning point. I'll update again soon, but for now, I'm keeping my guard up. If she's willing to track me down in person, I have to be ready for whatever is coming next. Update 3. I honestly thought blocking her would end everything, that after she showed up at my work and made that pathetic public plea, she'd get the hint. But I underestimated just how desperate someone can become when they're not sorry for what they did, only sorry they got caught. It started small. Friends of mine, even the ones I haven't talked to in years, began telling me she was reaching out to them. Not to apologize, but to get a message to me. They'd send screenshots of her long paragraphs about how she missed her best friend and knew she messed up but wanted a chance to explain. I told everyone to ignore her. Most did, but then she started showing up everywhere. Coffee shop I go to every Friday morning. She was there by coincidence. Gym? She just signed up for a membership. Once I went to the grocery store, turned the corner to grab cereal, and she was standing there, just staring at me with that fake sad smile. I didn't say a word. I just walked past. Her whisper followed me. "You can't avoid me forever." It was creepy. It wasn't love. It was possession. Then came the letter. One evening, I found an envelope slid under my apartment door. My stomach dropped before I even opened it. Inside was a 3-page handwritten note, talking about how we were perfect together and, deep down, I only made a mistake because I was scared of how much I loved you. The worst part, she admitted in the letter she only cheated because she wanted to see if she could get away with it. Not because she was drunk, not because she was lonely, but because she was bored. That was my breaking point. I called my buddy Mark, the one who helped me disappear in the first place, and told him I was considering moving again. He didn't even hesitate. "Do it. She's not going to stop otherwise." But before I could make that decision, something happened that flipped everything upside down. Mark called me at 2 a.m., his voice low and serious. "Dude, she's here." I thought he meant in town, but no. She was literally standing outside his house, knocking on his door, asking where I was. That's when I realized this wasn't just her trying to win me back. This was her trying to hunt me down. Update 4. Hey Reddit. This will probably be my last update because, well, I don't think there's much left to say after what happened. So remember how in my last update I was torn about meeting up with her in person just to get some closure? I thought I could handle it, go in calm, listen to what she had to say, and leave without letting my emotions run wild. Turns out I underestimated just how manipulative she could be. We met at a small cafe, neutral ground, public enough that nothing could escalate. I showed up 5 minutes late on purpose. She was already sitting there, and the moment I walked in, she looked like she'd just seen water in a desert. Her eyes lit up, but then they welled with tears almost immediately. The first thing she said was, "You look tired. Are you eating okay?" "No." "Hi." "No, I'm sorry," right away, just this faux concerned tone, like we were still in some kind of relationship where she had the right to check on me. I sat down, kept my arms crossed, and said, "You have 15 minutes. Talk." She started crying harder, saying she had made the biggest mistake of her life and couldn't believe I left without a word. She tried to spin it like her bragging to her friends wasn't serious, that she exaggerated and was just venting because she was upset with me that week. That's when I leaned forward and asked, "So, you admit you did cheat?" She froze. Her lip trembled. Then she whispered, "It was just one time. It didn't mean anything." And that's when the dam broke for me. I told her everything, how I heard every disgusting detail that night, how I left because I wanted to preserve my dignity, how blocking her was the healthiest thing I'd ever done for myself. I also told her that she didn't just lose me, she lost the version of me that trusted her completely. That guy doesn't exist anymore. She tried reaching across the table for my hand, saying, "We can fix this, I swear." I pulled my hand away and said, "You can't fix something you shattered on purpose." Then I stood up, left enough cash to cover my coffee, and walked out. Later that night, I got a text from one of her friends, one of the ones who had been there the night she bragged. Turns out, she had been telling different stories to different people since I left. To some, she claimed I was controlling and emotionally distant. To others, she said I cheated first, which is a complete lie. That text was my final confirmation there was no saving anything here. I blocked her friend's number too. Fast forward 2 months. I've moved to a new place in a different part of the city. My new apartment is smaller but feels peaceful. I've started cooking more, going to the gym, and hanging out with friends I lost touch with when I was too busy being in a one-sided relationship. And here's the wild part. Last week, I bumped into an old coworker at the grocery store. We ended up grabbing coffee, and I don't want to jinx anything, but I feel like I'm finally ready to let someone in again. This time, I'm going in with my eyes wide open. As for her, I don't know. I don't care. Her name is just a closed chapter in my life now. No. Scratch that, a book I burned and used the ashes to plant something new. I came out of this with scars, sure, but I also came out stronger, smarter, and more protective of my peace than ever before. If you've read this far, just remember, if you ever find yourself questioning whether you should stay with someone who disrespects you, leave. Don't wait for them to change. Don't beg for honesty from someone who trades it for convenience. Leave with your dignity intact. You'll thank yourself later. Thanks for sticking with me through this mess, Reddit. I'm out.